Yeah, it's surprise bindling bonus episode time. So we had a little technical difficulties there on the Friday. The stream cut off at an hour in and we went well longer. So I guess the stream's like automatically enforcing my own time limit if I'm not gonna. So it cut off the second game. The microphone volume was off because Dota changes that and when I enter a game, and I didn't fix it. So we're just gonna hang out here and take a look at a lower level game and see how things go in this one, and just sort of have some fun commenting it. We're gonna be focusing mostly on the Lich, but we'll be watching play all around the map. Gonna be a bit more of a laid back kind of thing as I'm running a little ill, so not gonna strain the throat on this one. So let's first take a look at the compositions here and how they could lane them reasonably. We've got a Pudge. Pudge almost always going to be mid. Bloodseeker's often mid as well, but he can just head off toward the safe lane or off lane. This looks like it should be a dual lane setup in all likelihood with, they're pretty interchangeable. You could put one of Spirit Breaker and Bloodseeker in top and bottom, and then one of Shadow Shaman and Lion to join one and the other.
30 seconds to battle.
We'll see how they shake them up. We got a courier, we've got wards. I am already impressed. Right now we got Pudge and the two supports headed down toward bottom. So it looks like they're going for a tri-lane setup, which isn't too weird, but for the lineup that they have, it's a little awkward. And here's what we didn't really want to do, which was put Bloodseeker and Spirit Breaker in the same lane, because it's double melee. For the lineups that they have, it'd probably be better to get Spirit Breaker farm. But in this lane, Bloodseeker's going to get priority. You can run Spirit Breaker as a support. As a secondary support, it gets just a little bit of farm, but in this lineup, I don't think that's ideal. Necrolite and Storm Spirit fighting over mid. Both generally tend to go mid. Looks like Necro's going to rotate toward bottom. We got the Lich down here as well. We've got no Observer wards on the side of the Dire. That's not good. Always need to start off with some... Oh, there it is. There's the Radiant one on the high ground. That would be better if they had a Pudge in mid. But Dire, no wards as far as I can tell, which is unfortunate. The Lich starting out with a Ring of Health, not Ring of Regen. Not really going to want to go with that. First off, as a support, you're going to pick up at least two support... You're pretty much going to pick up two support items, and... what ones is kind of dependent on your situation. In a pub game, I like to get Sentry Observer wards, because in every game you want three things. You want the Courier, you want Observer wards, and you want Sentry wards to start the game. If you have the right combo of supports, you could also have a Smoke of Deceit in there to rotate and gank up mid lane, but that's a little more complicated than we need to get into. But if you buy Observer wards and Sentry wards, usually people are going to be at least smart enough to know they need a Courier. But if you don't feel like you're going to make use of Sentry wards to D wards, just go Courier Observer ward, and you've got your bases covered, and you've got vision, and you've covered the bare necessities. Instead of Ring of Regen, just get a little more actual direct regen, a salve, a set of tangos. And if you want to build into Tranquil Boots, buy a Ring of Protection. You can get a Ring of Regen over here at the side shop, but you can't get a Ring of Protection. Now come out the Observer wards, which is good for rushing it out. However, you normally want to leave the Courier for the mid, because often the mid's going to be rushing a bottle. Storm Spirit being one of those heroes that will do that almost every time, though here in New Hampshire is not, so I don't know if there's any in-game communication, allied chat that's discussing that. But normally you want to leave that up to that mid player. We're coming up on the 3-minute mark. 3 minutes is when you can upgrade the Courier to flying, and you normally immediately want to do that. Oh, well, you always want to immediately do that. There's no situation in which you don't. Right now, we don't quite have the funds on the Lich. We have another support, though, somewhere. What's your lineup? Not really. There's really only the Lich here, which is really rough. Makes it a tough game on the support if you're the only support. Mana Drain actually kind of nice in Storm Spirit. Haven't really seen or considered the matchup Storm Spirit against Lion mid since the changes at 6.79. But as we're seeing right now, Storm Spirit's still getting the better of the lane, but he's starting to kill. He's going to eat through his regen now. You side with the bottle, though. So a bottle mid, how a bottle works is you have 3 charges. Each charge regens mana and health over a period of time, pretty quick period of time. And then if you pick up a rune, it refills your bottle and stores the rune in the bottle until you want to use it and activate it. So mids will often do that. Also, if you have your bottle refills back at the fountain, so you'll see mids, if they can't get rune control, they'll pick up the bottle with the courier, send it home, refill it, and bring it back to them. But if you're constantly doing that without organization on your team, you may really annoy your teammates. Maybe that's the thing you want to do. And there's a dive up top, able to get the Juggernaut for first blood, so it's still worth it even if he dies here, but I don't think he will. He's so tanky and it's only level 1. Oh, it's level 2 Frost Arrows. It didn't seem to be slowing him all that much. Oh, in mid, I missed that. Probably Finger of Death. Nope, just got level 6, so Lion will probably be able to kill Storm Spirit again, since now Finger of Death is up. However, he went 2 points in Mana Drain, which, okay, but I still want 1 point in Hex, I'd say, before the 2nd point in Mana Drain. Hex has 2.5 second disable now at level 1. Our Lich here. So, Sacrifice. I should have talked about Sacrifice. I meant to do that and got distracted by a lot of things. So, Sacrifice. What it does is it regens your mana based on the health of the creep that you sacrifice, and gives you and gives experience in an area around the creep. However, it also gives experience to any enemies around the creep. So what you want to be doing with Sacrifice is, before you use it, is back up, as we see Necrolite being charged right now, is back up out so it's out of the experience range of the enemies, and sacrifice it kind of a little bit back so you aren't sharing the experience with the enemies. In comes the charge, so we want to throw out a Frost Blast to slow him up. There we go, and now we pretty much just have to back up. What you can do in certain situations if you get really fancy is try and body block them, but here there's not a whole lot. Fetus could die here. Need a sacrifice there for more mana, but probably wasn't going to catch up. But let's take a look at what items we've got right now. Juggernaut, rushing the phase boosts, pretty much always want to be doing that. Bloodseeker, we saw Quelling Blade, Tango, Stout Shield. That's usually bad on almost any hero. Bloodseeker being the exception because he heals when he gets the last hit. So a Quelling Blade, getting a Quelling Blade instead of additional health regen is okay on him because his additional health regen comes from the Quelling Blade helping him get more last hits. He has to be careful here. Got a decent level advantage, but Blade Fury still does a lot of damage. And he was right up next to the Juggernaut. And Juggernaut's going to be moving a little bit faster right now, so you can't run away. Unless you get a little bonus speed from a below 50% health hero on the opposing team. Bloodseeker in 6.79, that being patch 6.79. globally gets increased movement speed based on any hero below 50% health on the map. Any enemy hero below 50% health on the map is now Drow Ranger being charged. And gives that, it will tell you where they are on the map, but technically don't have the same thing as vision on them. There's a stun out. The Hex and the Rupture. Did not need to Rupture there, and I think that actually lets Juggernaut get away. Blade Fury gives magic immunity, but Rupture goes through magic immunity, both being able to cast it and the damage. So if he cast Rupture on Juggernaut, they get both of them there. So that was a little mishap. So this ward here, if you wanted to cover the vision over here, you should drop the ward right here, because you want to give rune vision for your mid player, so he knows where that rune is, if anybody else picked it up, what rune it is. So here is and here are basically the same thing, except here you get rune vision and here you don't. Good to be maxing Frost Blast first. And there's a Rupture. If you run away from Rupture, well, you take damage. Should have just stood still, but there probably wasn't anything that could be done there. That was an okay death. You got a kill for Juggernaut for the Spirit Breaker, and Spirit Breaker was a more valuable hero there, plus the kill went to the right hero. So, however, if Juggernaut not really playing that one correctly, that's just an experience thing. Kind of drastically overestimating his ability to take that fight. Alright, so we're still sitting without a courier upgrade. This should have been at 3 minutes, we're now at 10 minutes. 10 minutes is hyper late. It's okay if you know, I still get distracted sometimes and not get it right on the dot. But, certainly much too long at this point. I see a TP there, so we can run through and check out the TP count right now. Okay, we've got two, just Storm and Lich. Storm going down right now in mid. Ball took a long time to ball lightning away there. Almost died because of it. Around the map, missed a kill up top on the Drow Ranger. And that was another Rupture kill. On the enemy team, no TP, no TP, no TP, no TP, no TP. Yeah, 0 TPs. So you always want a TP scroll on you because it helps you escape. It helps you rotate and help allies if they're getting dived under a tower. You can quickly get to a tower to defend against a push if they're trying to take a tower. It's pretty much good for every hero in all situations, and you really need one. A nice silence there. And he's not going to be able to do anything, but shouldn't die. Oh, that might not quite enough. Wasn't quite low enough for the threshold. If you get below a certain health, you'll be able to kill them. So the more HP they're missing, the more damage the scythe does.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Did he have Finger of Death? Probably not. It's a really long cooldown. No, 25 seconds. If he had Finger of Death, he could have killed Drow Ranger there. So rotating up to help, which is good, though. I find in a lot of players at a lot of levels, but it gets a little better as you play with better players, is there's a tendency to just hang out around mid and kind of look at each other across the river a lot. And that ended up working out.
It's 6 feet down.
I feel like the ward placement was a little weird there. If it was placed, say, right here, it still would have been within range of the tower and would have been able to target better. Also needed to target those. Could have killed Lich right there with the Serpent Wards if they were targeted on him. Being in range of Shadow Shaman, probably would have wanted to stutter step like up and back towards Spirit Breaker, as opposed to standing here just auto-attacking without moving. But Chain Frost, they're doing work. Levels right now, Pudge incredibly underleveled, so basically Pudge is going to be useless for the rest of the game. He's just not going to do anything. But he's actually building him correctly in terms of his skill build. That's good. You'll see players who don't play Pudge often grab a point in Flesh Heap, which is not worth it until you've maxed out the other two skills. Flesh Heap gives you bonus strength based on how many kills you have, and it's retroactive. So if you kill someone before you get it, you'll still get credit for it once you get points in it. So you should wait and get your abilities that help you get kills first, and then get Flesh Heap.
Axe was not involved.
Storm Spirit just giving up at 12-4. This game is not even close to over. Bloodseeker is a bit far ahead because of being able to get a lot of kills with Rupture, but Bloodseeker doesn't scale well. Dire's team scales much better, and still the lead is not that big. There's only been 2 tier 1s lost right now. And the farm, we see the Bloodseeker's on top, but the next 3 are all on Dire. Also, Pudge, as I mentioned, really underleveled and is going to be just useless. You can't have an underleveled Pudge. He becomes just a big, easy target. As we have a disconnect on Shadow Shaman. No pause coming out as of yet. Bloodseeker also going for the kind of gimmicky Force Staff build, which, you know, it can be okay going like Force Staff Dagon to burst heroes down if you're snowballing out of control, but it also means you're giving up your ability to scale later. So if you're expecting to be the primary damage dealer, buying a Force Staff, which gives you nothing in terms of actual right-click damage, actually, that's 2,000 gold, you know, 2250 gold basically wasted in that regard. So it's not necessarily bad here because he is snowballing, but if they don't ride that wave to victory, then it allows for a comeback later. There's a Rupture and the Force Staff, but see, he's spinning and trying to move, and he still takes damage while magic immune. Pretty much dead. You need to cast Frost Armor, though. There's nothing you could do there, but Frost Armor should basically be casting that at all times, but that's tricky. Might get a kill here. Yep.
War has come to Radiant's bottom tower.
Down, but not defeated.
You'll see a lot of Drow Rangers. Actually, almost all Drow Rangers I see max Precision Aura first, and I just want to say I like Frost Arrows first. Go Epic Myrtilation. That's my preference. If you get 60% slow at level 4 on Frost Arrows, I think it takes a huge jump from level 3 to 4. Yeah, 37 to 60%.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Warding has been good for Radiant. A little less on Dire, but there's less support on Dire as well. We just got the one hero, so it makes it a little tougher. Carrying one, we could use a ward up on this side of the map. However, since it's probably unsafe to go up in this area over here, you can still drop one like right here, and that will still cover you in terms of wraparounds mid. You could also drop it here since Dire has already lost their tier 1 to kind of cover wraparounds through here. building a mech is good. But the problem is it doesn't stack, so Necrophos also went mech. So 2 is a waste because there's a cooldown on it working. So if you use mech and then somebody else immediately uses mech after, it doesn't heal, and the aura from them doesn't help either. They get a kill. Oh man, New Hampshire getting out of there. Steel, no, gonna die. To the wards. It ends up being 2 for 1. Okay, the buyback was just a little impatience there. There was no reason to buy back, and you really don't want to buy back if you don't have to, because now if you do that, your next death is 25% of your previous death's timer added on to it. So not only do you use a bunch of gold, and you can't get any unreliable gold during the period in which you would have been dead otherwise, your next death will also take longer. So normally the situations in which you would buy back is if there's an important fight going on that you can buy back and rejoin and help out in, or if they're pushing into your racks and you need to buy back to help defend, are the two things. So ideally, if you're buying back, you're going to get a kill or help your team get kills, so you pick up unreliable gold, reliable gold to make up for the buyback. Right now it's 17-9. Still we see second, third, fourth, all on the Dire. Let's check out the gold experience. Pretty darn even. Drow going Shadow Blade. It's alright. At low levels, its invisibility is invincibility. Oh man, wow. That is glitchy. He got off the spin before the Finger of Death, so he took no damage from Finger of Death. Needs to be casting some more Frost Armor. You can set Frost Armor to auto-cast, but that can be a bit... that can screw up your cast animations on other things. There's a nice one there. Everybody split up away from him, though. They should be able to cast, because Frost Arrows... oh no, they don't get him. But he's actually charging into a tower right now, so he could get hit by the tower. No, gonna pull back in time. They still may catch him. Frost Blast within range now.
Invisibility.
And there we go. Alright. Good chase down.
I warned you not to speak with Ring.
Sanji Nyasha, another mid-game item that is, you know, it's solid, but it's not a late-game item. This is really close, and now New Hampshire... no, he's not going in. Is he going to die to Roshan? He's going to die to his own silence. I actually heard a hook, but it sounds like he's just hooking jungle creep. So Pud's trying to make it back by just jungling. He's trying to figure out how he killed himself. Blood Rage silences and does damage while increasing your right-click damage. So you cast it on yourself and you take some additional... you take 20 damage per second as it's going on, but you also get additional attack damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Finger of Death, but just going to ball lightning away. For solo kills on Lion, you kind of need to try and
The redness spreads at
time it
Radiant's
so
middle
you don't
tower.
allow an
Dire's
escape,
bottom
kind
tower
of
is
burst
under
them
attack.
down.
Radiant structures are fortified with
I
12
don't
important
think they're gonna get a
Radiant's top
kill here.
tower is under attack. Dire's bottom
Level
tower
12,
is
level
under
8,
attack.
and level 9. Yeah.
Godlike!
With mech and death
Dire's
pulse,
bottom tower is under
a
attack.
difficult target. Let's actually going in for the phase boots, which is reasonable enough. Another option you can go into would be tranquil boots, which will give you some health regen and armor. Also helps you move quickly as well. But also going in for the mech, you get health regen from that, so you don't necessarily need it. And phase will help you position a little better.
Radiant dislike Roshan very
So you want
much.
to write down the Roche timer when that happens, so you know the time range that he can be back up. So that was at 23:47, and Roshan responds 8 to 11 minutes after death. So that means he can respawn at as early as 31:47 and as late as 34:47. The Aegis also expires 6 minutes after death, so it would be expiring at 29:47. When the Aegis expires, it heals the hero carrying it, if it's unused.
That'll take the wind from their sails.
Trying to figure out what that broadsword is for. I'm wondering if she's building blade mail.
Mega
Nice
kill!
hook back, finger of death, bringing down the Drow Ranger. Ideally, you want chain lightning when there are no creeps around.
Holy killing spree!
Blade Fury doing a lot of damage right now. Oh, that impale. Now the Juggernaut going down. This fight has not gone well.
Blood falls to blood.
The initiation was kind of poor, and there wasn't really a need to try and start a fight when the enemy has Aegis.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let them come to you.
Much like cordwood before axe's axe, war has come to Radiant's bottom tower. Dire's
I'm still
top
interested in
tower
this
is
broadsword.
under
Is this
attack.
the only thing I can think of is blade mail that he would be building. Because I can't imagine it's... Vlad's another okay item. Helps your team push, but also not going to scale very well. So he's filled up with all these mid-game,
Axe-like.
poorly scaling items, so...
Your blood is mine.
This is pretty reliant on, say, Spirit Breaker farming more heavily and more late game, or winning within, I'd say in like 25 to 30 minutes, but let's say 35 minutes here in this game, because by that point we're going to start to see more, bigger items on these heroes. Actually, probably 35 to 40. If it goes past 40, then it's going to start slanting towards Dire. And it's hard to judge when the farm is really low on everybody compared to where it would be normally. Now again, we're light on vision. We really need to be prioritizing wards, because Radiant is on the aggressive and you need to know where they are. You want wards up all the time anyway. That's especially important here, but that chain lightning, no creeps there, cleaning up. End up losing,
Double kill.
actually end up losing 3 there, and even trade. It was looking a lot better, but hanging around in the Serpent wards for just a little too long. Storm Spirit going in for Bloodstone, as is Necrophos. Would have preferred Orchid. I normally prefer Orchid on Storm Spirit. Actually gives you a more utility. Bloodstone will help you carry harder, but because it gives you some more regen and a bit more health, but the silence here is really good from Orchid. Being able to silence out the Spirit Breaker so he can't get away. Silence up Lion so he can't disable you if you want to go on him. Silence Pudge so he's useless. Pudge still on the bottom of the board in terms of experience. He's not a flash farmer. He can only really get a whole lot out of killing heroes, which is why he's just really bad if he gets under leveled, because there isn't a whole lot of comeback mechanism, and down goes the Pudge. An Illusion Rune picked up, but it's a really bad idea for him to walk in.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, there. Oh, I'm an idiot. That's a Crystallis. That makes sense.
Radiant structures are
Makes sense that I
fortified.
was just completely blanking on
Axe
something.
observes carnage underway at Radiant's top tower.
Went Invis, but Invis doesn't break charge, so... Plus, if you get low, Bloodseeker gets true sight of you. Still a very tough kill here, as Mech is going to be back up and brings down the Spirit Breaker. No, don't go back into the Serpent Wards. Don't go back into the Serpent Wards. Alright, so... Lich, when he comes back up, we want wards. I assume at this point there are at least 2 sets of wards to be bought, so there's 300. You want a TP scroll as well. A magic stick. For me, the core items on most supports, if they are supports that get arcane boots, in this case, Lich is not. But for me, it's arcane boots and magic wand and TP scroll are my core items. If I have those, I'm happy. At the very least, you want a magic stick. Burst heal, and when you're low health, it gives you... It's very cost efficient. You can also build it into a magic wand, which is a cool +3 all stats built into your magic stick that you want anyway.
Fresh meat.
So there's the finished mechanism, and leaving the base without any observer wards. Not what we want. Now, why are observer wards important here? So let's say we're Juggernaut, right? And we want to go farm up top. We have no idea where the enemy is unless they're right at a creep wave. So right now, there's Spirit Breaker dead, and we saw Shadow Shaman mid, but now he's off the map. So we've got 4 enemy heroes off the map. So to even go up here to farm is kind of unsafe. If you're under tower, okay, you're probably alright. But if you go out to here, you could die, and you can just die, because they could just all be right here right now waiting, all right up here right now to be waiting to kill you. You want to be able to know where the enemy is in order to safely farm. And avoid any sort of rotations for kills that they may be going in for. We check out the score right now. It should be still pretty even, and it is. A little bit of an experience lead for the Radiant at 5,000, but at this point in the game, 5,000 not a big deal. That'll swing all the way back in one team fight.
Dire's bottom tower.
Storm going in for a Lincoln Sphere next. Which is a reasonable enough choice.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's unfortunate that it took this long to build up an item that's redundant in this game. There's a Bloodseeker. Nobody willing to go on him. Omni Slash. He stopped moving, which is good. Will he be able to survive? There's the Hex, very nicely chained, but just not enough damage. And he gets away. The Chain Frost! Huge damage there. As they're just grouped up in no man's land.
Dyer's
Lion
courier
going to get away.
has been slain.
Thank you.
And they lost the courier. Where was that? Oh, right here. I think it was just the Serpent Wards picking that off. Alright, we got 800 more gold. Come on, I bet there's 6 Observer Wards to be bought right now. Also need a TP scroll. Remember that? Let's check in on our heroes again on that TP scroll counter. No teleport scrolls on the side of Dyer. 1 teleport scroll on the side of Radiant. So what that means is, right now we've got heroes here and here. If Dyer as 5 push bottom tower, which is low, they'll get it. Like if they were right here and push out the wave and walk down, they'll get this tower 100%. Because the hero's bottom can't walk up top fast enough to defend it, and they don't have teleport scrolls. Also, Bloodseeker. The counter to Bloodseeker are teleport scrolls. If he ruptures you, you stop and TP out because he has no way to interrupt a teleport scroll. So unless he can kill you in the time that it takes for you to TP out, you're fine. Now, if he has help, then that's a different thing. But if he's just trying to solo kill you, you can just teleport home and be fine. Yeah, there's our wards. So this one's nice. Covers any sort of pushes on this tower. It's a little redundant, though. I probably would have just gone with this one. Because if we're just trying to cover a jungle, it's kind of unlikely that they're going to come up through here as a threat. So it's more likely a push along here and then cut in. Or cut through the river like this.
Much like cordwood before axe's axe. Dyer's top tower
It ends up going a
is
3 for
under
2
attack.
trade in mid.
Heaven or hell. Dyer's top tower is in one of
The
them.
Storm Spirit
Mega kill!
able to get a kill. Now Bloodseeker trying to build into a Monkey King bar. About 400 off of finishing that with his Demon Edge. Now once the Monkey King bar is up, that can interrupt a teleport scroll with Mini Bash. But at this point in the game, Dro's starting to get a little scary. You're actually going in for Sanjin Yasha as well. Don't really like that choice. And again, I do like mobility, and the health will help. It's not as scaling. If we're going to put money into it, I'd rather just go ahead and fully complete the Daedalus. Covering Roshan, also very important. Now, the value of Roshan is that the Aegis makes it much easier to break high ground and take tier 3s and racks. That's the biggest thing. Of course, you get gold, which is really nice. You get experience, really nice. You prevent the opponent from getting Roshan, which is one of the values. And the Aegis lets you push down towers more safely because you have an extra life in that fight. So that means any fight in any reasonably close game with an Aegis, you should win. And getting some assurances on winning a fight is a big deal because you can convert that into control in the game.
Dyer's bottom tower has been denied! Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So Lich now looking at
Radiant's bottom
Aghanim
tower
Scepter.
has fallen. Do not blame that.
It's okay as we see Lion here caught out.
Foundling's life is
But
all
Drow Ranger paying for it as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'm over here.
I don't know, I think between the two of them they could just kill the Spirit Breaker.
Zip.
Now using the Chain Frost.
Juggernaut!
Oh, some very nice bounces there.
Unstoppable!
Told you a storm was coming.
Mech Hughes, but cleanup crew. You can't fight him.
Kill!
Feed the flayed twins.
Regeneration.
The flayed ones keep you safe.
So Aghanim Scepter, as we see, still trying to make something happen mid. It's not bad, but it's going to be a long time before it's finished. And with it being that long, I think the preference should be toward more cost-efficient items that will help you be useful earlier and stay alive longer in fights. So nobody's got a Drum of Endurance. You could get that if you want to build a little bit tankier, because it includes a Bracer, gives you +9 all stats, and helps you move a bit faster. You can get a Force Staff to Force Staff heroes out of trouble if they get charged or stunned up by Lion or Spirit Breaker, or hooked by Pudge. You could get Ghost Scepter. That would also be very good to just kind of deter anyone from if Bloodseeker goes on you. Once he gets up to you to right-click, you can Ghost Scepter yourself and delay him by quite a bit. Drow Ranger cut out again. That's starting to hurt the Dyers, Drow Ranger dying this often, because she's the biggest late-game damage dealer on this team. As there's another Roche, so keep in mind 40 minutes, 19 seconds, give or take. But can they get one? No, the hook back. Pudge with the plays. It's a little greedy to still be in that fight, though. 38-30. Radiant's starting to take a bit more of an advantage again. But still pretty even. That's going to swing it down a little bit after it started to come back up. Or, sorry, toward the Radiant. So it's going to swing up a bit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack!
Now Pudge actually building a mech. Again, Radiant also already has a mech. They don't stack. Rupture wasted there. Pops blocked by the Lincolns. But the double damage on Bloodseeker with the silence. He's going to be hitting for 700 damage if he can get in close. But now the slow Drow Ranger. And they'll get him. They get the Aegis. He's still going to come back up here. Rupture again. But not going to chase.
Glorious thanks.
You really want to save the scythe for when you can finish a kill. So that get them past a certain health threshold, and then use the scythe. Because if you use it too early, not only does it not kill them, it also does less damage because they've lost less health. Able to find out the Spirit Breaker, which is very nice.
You are too noisy to live.
Shadow Blade away. Nobody with vision. TP scrolls. Oh, in comes the Storm Spirit. Still not enough damage, so there's still a lot of mana here on the Storm. He could have dove in and gone for it again. See with the mech, there's a timer here that you can see winding down. That's before a mech can be used again to heal. So technically it's not the whole duration, but it's significant enough that it's just kind of a waste to have two. Equiphos brought down there, but now in comes the Storm. Not willing to go balls out entirely. I think he could have gotten a kill there as well. But Dro walking in, mech'd up. Tries the suicide, can't get it off. But Shade Frost again, big timing there. Omni Slash, a little bit inefficient use. Pretty even Rupture again, doesn't stop, but he was dead. There was no way out of that one. Ends up being 4 for 3 in favor of the Radiant. Pharaoh's so slowly building up. Got a Helm of the Dominator, which is another good item for her to have. Can build it into a Satanic later. Has her big survivability item. Would probably prefer her finishing Daedalus before the Satanic though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, Lion's going for Refresher. I thought he was building Orchid. So he's got Aghanim Refresher on his ult. All he needs now is a Void Stone, so he's about 600 gold away from that. And Storm Spirit uses all of his mana to jump over here. He's got a lot of mana regen though, so that's alright. It's kind of funny. But no TP scroll.
Illusion.
So again, they could just be pushing mid or top right now. There, he sells one, pick up TP. Oh, he didn't pick up the TP scroll though. Oh. I'm sad. Alright. Ah, there's TP scrolls right there. Doesn't have any additional observer wards. There's no vision on the map right now. And with no towers mid or top, we really don't know, as the Dire, where the Radiant team is. As we see them moving through the jungle, we really want to know if they're there, because it's really not safe to be farming right now. We can't even go up to these camps because it's just a death trap. It's flipping a coin whether or not you get caught out. Even right here, if the Radiant had vision, they could catch them in a poor position. Rotation in from New Hampshire. Jumps in up top. Actually goes right through Lion into the middle of their team. Is now completely out of mana. Have to back out. Bad rotation here. Need to back out this way. Walks right into... Needs to just toss the Chain Frost. Doesn't get it off in time. And now this is just turning into a terrible fight.
I see death. Yet alone.
The dive was far too greedy. As mentioned, no vision, so thought he was diving into one, was actually diving into 5.
Much like cordwood before axes. Dire's top
Again,
tower
Storm
has
Spirit giving
fallen.
up in a roughly even game. Now, there's not a whole lot of way to defend the racks, and that gives them gives the Radiant a significant advantage. But one rack's down is not the end of a game. You do have to consider what you've got to come back. Do you have a lineup that can come back? Do you have a lineup that can stay better, worse, or the same as your opponents? If they lose 2 racks down, it would be that should be game. If they get 2, that would be a huge comeback to come back from 2 racks down in this one.
War has been declared on Dire's middle barracks.
Mid racks, they're not focusing on defending it, and now they lose both. Now there's a lot of trouble.
Dire's war has come to Radiant's bottom tower.
We'll see if Dire can hold out here as Bloodseeker going in and out, moving very fast now. Oh, the dive in isn't able to vortex because of the magic maybe, but jumps back in. Does get the kill. As he's still moving at higher than maximum movement speed. That's one thing about Bloodseeker now, is if you get enough thirst from low health heroes, you now can move faster than max movement speed. TP interrupted by the Monkey King bar, but the Storm Spirit helping out, keeping them alive. And now it's a really rough game. You'll see a huge spike now in gold. A bit of a spike in experience, but not as much, because it wasn't so much a huge team fight win. They got a few heroes, so it's a win, but it's really the gold from all the buildings, the racks, the towers. They really spike it up. Still not impossible to come back here. It's just that now it will come down to... Don't die to the creeps there, Al. It'll basically come down to defending until you can get one... Hopefully, get the opponent to push into you and lose one team fight, and then all-in push for the win in response. The only other alternative is in certain in certain lineups you can split push and hopefully pick off a racks while the opponent is out of position. It's tough no matter what, though. Once again, we're needing vision. No vision of Roche, and we see them go in for it. As there's now a pause. And immediate unpause by Necrophos. Not sure what was going on there. Maybe a misclick. Sight the Vice. Nice that he has that up, an additional disable there. Storm Spirit and Dro just walking into the enemy team. No vision, but there's only 3 of them here. And not able to get Lion, gets stunned up. Double stun. Storm Spirit out of mana. They don't have vision for the Drows, so she'll probably... I don't know if they have True Sight or not for the Bloodseeker, but they're not chasing anyway. Al. Nobody else helping out, so he'll be fine, but they lose the Storm. And each time you die, you're losing Bloodstone charges, which is not good. And Pudge even getting a kill there on the Juggernaut. Juggernaut actually now equal level to the Pudge.
Roshan has fallen to the
And there's our next Roche at 5146. Just pointing that out each time so we remember each time you hear that to write it down. To train myself to do this, I actually modded the audio files to a recording of me telling myself to write down the Roche timer. So that's what I did.
Is taking many wounds.
Fortunately now I tend to get it. I'll miss it here and there if I'm playing carry or something and I'm focused on something else. But as a support, I've gotten pretty solid at it. They get the Aegis pretty quickly, which is a nice win. It's even at the tier 2 without a full team. But now the Rupture, Dro in a lot of trouble. has her Daedalus recipe bots, so she doesn't lose too much, but now she doesn't have buyback. Spirit Breaker doesn't really have any damage items, so he's not really doing a whole lot with all those attacks, and they're able to get him. Yes. Bloodseeker is going to be running away. They're not going to be able to catch him, but they may be able to catch up and take out the Shadow Shaman. Omni Slash still available, able to get him with that. And that's a little win. Shadow Shaman buys back. There really wasn't a need to buy back there, and that is a nice win now for the Dire. And man, players like to call GG a lot. If you're in a game, there's no surrender button in Dota 2. So until the game is actually over, calling GG is just a waste of time that is more or less only going to accomplish making your team demoralized. Finger of Death used. Not going to be enough. Chain Frost, probably wouldn't have used Chain Frost there, but at level 16 is pretty spammable, so hey, why not? Only a 60-second cooldown. They're still trying to push in. Bloodseeker, 4,600 gold, trying to decide what to get next. Actually getting a Battle Fury. That's just not a good use of gold. What would have been far better would have been, say, a Butterfly. You'd be able to get the Eagle Song. If you want to, you could also get a Bashard into Abyssal Blade. Would have been better. I think those would be the two big ones. You also do a lot of damage, so even just a heart would be alright. He has the BKB though, so he doesn't really need it. Probably just wants more damage, and Battle Fury is not really the way to do it. Battle Fury is much more of a farming item, though it does give you additional damage. There are better damage items, and there's 2 down, and buying out on those items means they don't have buyback right now. Shadow Shaman, because he bought back, his respawn timer is a lot slower. And now this is kind of the opportunity to try and push down and basically push for GG. It's always a difficult call in terms of what to do, whether or not to go for Tier 4 and Ancient or to go for both racks. Being down 2 barracks often is just, you know what, let's go for the Ancient. But right now the timers are so tight that I'd almost be inclined to just go for 2 barracks because they can't get Ancient. Okay, they're able to pick off Lion, but they need to focus on Tower and Racks. And Lion even down for a really long time. He should have enough for buyback. He does. So he needs to buy back, I think. Pudge coming behind, but that means he's in a terrible position. No, what? You can just kill him. And everybody else here is backing off. This may allow them to defend barracks. This is a really... So this ends up being a brilliant maneuver because not only does he not die, but everybody here in the push turns around and leaves the barracks. Right, now if we check out the net worth, Storm Spirit about even now with the Bloodseeker. We got Necrophos pretty much even with Lion, and then Drow Ranger a little bit ahead of the Pudge, and Juggernaut also a little bit ahead. So actually the gold right now is still pretty even. It's coming back down. It got up very high, but getting some towers back. Experience actually going the way of the Dire, so it's remained really even. The only thing is that there's these 2, as we see a launch across the map, are 2 racks down. It's just really hard. Shadow Shaman trying to backdoor with the Serpent Wards, goes down. He's down for 70 seconds. Now, if you are the Radiant, what do you want to do here? I think you want to wait out for Roshan, get the Aegis, and go for the win. And that means organize. That means all 5. Push out the lanes, come in from top or mid, probably top, and go for the Ancient. You don't need to push in the bottom lane for Rax. There's still a tower there. The tier 4 is almost dead. So if you could have gotten Rax, you could have gotten Ancient. But in mid, there's the Bloodseeker, a Yule Scepter. I like it. And now just going to TP out, but Omni Slash breaks that. I'm not sure if he was aware that that interrupts TP. And now the Spirit Breaker goes in. They need to back off there. Now they're going to lose the Spirit Breaker as well. Probably the Lion. Nope. Messed up just a little bit there, but they still get him. The 1,000 crit on the Drow Ranger. TPing back to defend as the tier 4 going down with the Pudge split pushing. Trying to chase him down is Juggernaut. And that's the problem is if you don't have the lanes, if you leave to go for the win, you have to get the win because each time the creeps push in and take a little more, and now the Ancient is exposed. They're able to get the Pudge. So we've got 4 on the sidelines for 50 seconds. The tier 3 is already down, so this is time for the GG push. Lich should probably stay home because he can't really help push, but he can at least slow the creeps up, use Frost Armor, and just kind of pull them back to the fountain. Drow would be able to help with the push, help them push way faster. They go in for the kill on Shadow Shaman. They really need to do it quickly and not chase. That's quickly enough. Now they're able to get the mid-racks. They need to go in for tier 4s. Forget this building, forget this building, forget this building. Go straight to tier 4s is what they really want to be doing here. Now they're splitting up, which is also not good. You really want to be focusing your attention here.
As Radiant's middle tower falls, Axe's middle
Oh man, Spirit Breaker canceled. What was he doing?
Radiant's bottom tower has been
I have
laid
no
low.
idea what he was doing. He was charging top, and then he just sort of stopped. I'm not sure if the creep, if the creep that you're chasing dies, it should switch to one nearby. So I'm not sure what happened, but he wants to split push. Everybody backs off. They get the mid racks now. But they only get the tier 3 tower here, nothing on the racks. If Juggernaut was here, they probably would have gotten both tier 4s. If they didn't chase back the Spirit Breaker, I think they could have just won this game right here. Refresher on the Lich.
Double damage.
In most scenarios, it would probably be better to have a Scythe of Ice, but here I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the Og's Refresher. But, yeah, at this point, it's kind of tough for the Bloodseeker to do a whole lot in fights. He can be locked down for quite a while as BKB is being used up. It's down to a 4-second duration. Now just going in for the Ancient.
Is under attack.
Just going to BKB and go for it. But that's going to cost him, and that's it. That should be the game, because they're not going to be able to get the Ancient, and that's 2 more down. And he does not have buyback. Spirit Breaker does not have buyback either. Now there's the shadow amuleted Shadow Shaman looking for an opportunity to backdoor that Ancient. However, the Ancient does have backdoor regen, so the Shadow Shaman alone I don't think will be able to do it without creeps in the base, and there are no creeps in the base, so this is going to end up being a waste, I think. Oh, well, he has the two serpents, so that actually may be enough since they're Oghanims. But the Fortify is available. Back comes the Drow Ranger, and it's not going to be in time, because he'll be able to kill Shadow Shaman very quickly, and now the wards will go down quickly. Oh, this is really close at the same time now. Tier 4s go down. Fortification from Radiant, but as the Serpent wards die, that'll be it. And now, Radiant Ancient goes down. So we had like, what, 5 GG calls from both teams during that game, in the middle of the game, during close games. Yeah, don't get too caught up in the kill score. Doesn't necessarily mean anyone's all that high up. So I got distracted a lot by play around the whole map. If we're looking in, big thing that stood out on the Dire was a lack of vision for a lot of the game. Needed to be on top of the observer wards is the primary thing. The lineup is a little awkward, but they did what they could to make the lanes work. And that ended up being quite the game. Really close for an hour straight. So, a fun one, and hopefully that, if it wasn't helpful, was at least enjoyable to take a look at. So that's been our little bonus episode of the Bindling. I'll be back on Monday to continue with Gone Home, and then our StarCraft will actually be moved up to the Tuesday for our official Week 1 launch. See you then.